Well, hello everybody and welcome to Max Tutorials. This is version C of compound inequalities. That means we're basically putting two inequalities on one graph, and I'm going to show you how to do that. This is version C, meaning that there was a version A and a version B. And if you're wondering how do you find those, just go to maxtutorials.com and you'll see a lot of videos there and worksheets on how to do algebra, and I'm happy to help. And if you could like and subscribe, that would help me. I'd really appreciate that, okay? All right, let's start with number one. So, what if I were to cross this thing out right here? Well, you would just go minus 2. But if it's written like this, you really have three sides of an equation. So you want to do it to all three of them, okay? And once I do that, I'm going to get 2 is less than x, which is less than 10. When the x is in the middle of an equation with two less than signs, it means an in-betweener, and you'll see that a lot. So x is in between 2 and 10. Now also notice there are no equal signs, so these will both be wholes. So I'm going to have a 2 and I'm going to have a 10. They're both going to be wholes, not solid dots, because they don't include them, and that right there would be our answer. Okay? Let's go on and give the next one a try. All right? So on this one, I'm going to treat them when they give you two equations, just do two different equations. So on this one, we're going to add 10 to both sides. And then after we do that, I'm going to get 5x is greater than or equal to 25. I'm going to divide each side by 5. Boom, die. X is greater than or equal to 5. It's a little messy, but that's a greater and equal than. Going on to the next one, I'm going to add 10 to both sides. Now I'm going to get 5x is less than or equal to a 45. Okay? Divide each side by 5. X is less than or equal to 9. And now all I have to do is graph both of these. So I'm going to have a 5 and a 9. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a dot at 5 because there is an equal sign. I'm also going to put a dot at 9, okay? Now, if I notice, my x's have to be greater than 5, but they have to be less than the 9. And so once I do that, I can tell that my answer is going to be everything that's in between them, okay? So there's number 2. Let's go on to number 3. Oh, listen to my dog snore. Sorry, we'll try to ignore that as we go on. All righty, there we go. His name's Samson. He's old, but we love him. Here we go. Um, so my x is going to be in between the 2 and the 8, and they are going to be wholes. So there's a 2, and there's an 8. There's a hole. There's a hole. And when the x is written in between, we just show it on the graph like that. It's everything in between. Okay, now number 4, I have two different equations, so we have to solve them separately. So let's start with this first one. I'm going to go minus 6 minus 6. I'm going to get x is less than or equal to 8. There's one part of the problem. Oh, wow, he's really going at it now, okay? So now I'm going to subtract 6 to both sides, and we're going to get x is greater than or equal to, add a line, change the sign, a negative 2, all right? So let's start. They both have to be dots. Okay, I'm going to start with x is less than or equal to 8. There's my 8. Okay, and I know it needs to be less than. Notice I'm not putting it on the graph yet because I want to kind of get an idea of what it's going to look like first. I'm going to put a dot here at negative 2. Okay, and I know x's have to be greater. Now that I've written that, it looks pretty obvious that my answer is going to be anything in between these two dots. Okay. Cool. Let's go on to number 5. Same thing. If I do something to the middle, I have to do it to the right and I have to do it to the left. All right. So that'll give my x by itself. And I'm going to be left with 5 is greater than equal to x, which is greater than 13. Now, my 5 is going to have a dot and my 13 is going to have a hole. So let's start with my dot at 5. I got to write the dot first. And my hole is going to be at 13. Now, at the 5, I know the x needs to be greater. At the 13, I know it needs to be less. That's an in-betweener, which looks like that. All right, let's go on to number 6. On this one, I need to multiply each side by 5. That'll cancel out. X is greater than 10. On the next one, I'm going to multiply each side by 5. X is less than 35. Okay? So 10 and 35 are my numbers. There's no equal sign. They're both wholes. So that's pretty easy. I'm just going to write a 10 here. I'm going to write a 35 here. If you notice, I purposely didn't put number lines on here because I wanted to be kind of open-ended here. Okay, so you don't have to do everything to scale, and your answer is in between because that x, well, I guess I should have talked about that. X is greater than the 10, and x is less than the 35, and that's why it's in between. All right, let's go on to number 7. If I divide this by 7, it means I got to divide everybody by 7. I'm going to get 2 is less than x is less than or equal to 6. All right, so I know right now that my 6 has to be a dot, and I know that my 2 has to be a whole. All right, and when the x is sitting in between them like that, that just tells you it's going to be an in-betweener. Okay, let's go on to number 8. And number 8, I have a compound equation. So I'm going to add 2 to all three sides. And I'm going to get 8 is less than or equal to 2x, which is less than 7. Now, once I divide all three sides by 2, oh, sorry, why did I do that? I divided. I got to slow down a little bit. That's a 16. Okay, so once I do that, I'm going to get, let's see, 8 divided by 2. I'm running out of room, so I'm going to write over here a little bit if you don't mind. 4 is less than or equal to x, which is less than 8. So 4 and 8 are my magic numbers. The 4 is going to need a dot, and the 8 is going to need a hole. So there's my 4 with a dot, and there's my 8 with the hole, and the x is in between. So I write that with an in-betweener, which looks like that. That's not a dot. Sorry, that got a little confusing. There you go. All right, so let's go to 9. I have a little bit of a compound equation in there. So I'll make that bigger. It's a little easier to see. I'm going to subtract 1 from all three of these. All right. I'm going to get 2 is less than x over 3, which is less than or equal to 6. Now, I need to multiply all three of these by 3 because that'll get rid of all that. I'll have an x. Okay. Ooh, that's not an equal sign. Go away. Go away. And I'm going to have an 18 on this side, and I'm going to have a 6 on that side. The 6 is going to have a hole, and the 18 is going to have a dot. All right, so let's go back here. And I said the 18 is going to have a dot, and the 6 is going to have a hole. And then the answer is going to be whatever is in between. And lastly, last problem on compound inequalities. I'm going to add 4 to both sides of this one. I'm going to treat them like two separate problems. X is greater than 10. And on the other one, once I add 4, well, signs are different. So I'm going to subtract, keep the sign of the bigger number. And so let's just go ahead and do them. Let's start with the x is greater than 10. So that's going to be a hole at 10, right? And it's greater than. So if it's greater than, well, that's that direction. All right. Now I'm going to go to this one right here. X is less than a negative 8. Okay, so I'm going to have a negative 8, and it's got to be a hole, and then it's less than, so it's that way. So any answer on the extremes between those numbers, on the other side of the numbers, are going to end up solving the problem. Okay? So, well, that's about it, guys. That is our compound inequalities. So hopefully between A, B, and C, that really helped you out. And we'll go on to some absolute values and some other problems after this. So anyways, really good to see you guys. I hope that this is making it easier for you. And, again, like, subscribe, ask questions. I'm here to help you. Take care, guys.